in love with carnivals and circuses. And a carnival came to my hometown when I was 12 years old with a man named Mr. Electrico in that carnival, and he traveled with his own electric chair. And every night he sat on his platform out in the open, and they were electrocuted. Well, we boys ran out every night hoping that the worst would happen. Just like most boys, huh? And we got down there, and he had an assistant. He sat in the chair, and the assistant said, "We will now put 1 billion volts of electricity into Mr. Electrico's fragile body." Huh? So he pulled the switch, and the electricity shot into Mr. Electrico's body, and his hair stood up, and sparks shot out of his ears. And he took a sword, and he passed it down among all the kids below the platform. He tapped them on the shoulder or the brow or the nose, and he came to me and put the sword against the end of my nose, and the electricity shot into my head, made my hair stand up, and he pointed at me and he said, "Live forever!" I said, "My God, that's great advice. How do you do that?" So I decided I'd have to go down and see Mr. Electrico and find out what the secret was of living forever. And so, I forgot all about this until about 5 years ago. The next day was the funeral of one of my favorite uncles. He had been killed in a holdup. He had lingered for 2 days and died, and his funeral was the next day. And I didn't remember this till 5 years ago. We went to the funeral home, we went to the graveyard, and we had all the relatives, 20 or 30 relatives, and we were headed back for the wake after the funeral from the graveyard. And we were at the top of this hill. I looked down the hill, and here are all these carnival tents and flags and pennants. And I said to my father, "Stop the car, stop the car." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I got to get out here, got to get out here." And I couldn't tell him why. I had to go see Mr. Electrico and find out how to live forever. Huh? And my father stopped the car. He was furious. Here I was 12 years old. I dared to go against the will of my father. And all these relatives waiting to be sad all day. And I got out of the car and he drove off. He wouldn't talk to me for 2 days. But I ran down the hill. And what was I doing? I was running toward life, wasn't I? I was running away from death. It was all intuitive. I didn't know what I was doing. It was instinctive. It was an act of salvation for myself. I got down bottom of the hill, carnival ground, and there's Mr. Electrico sitting on his platform, like he was waiting for me. Huh? And I ran up to him, and I suddenly got bashful. I didn't know what to say. And I had a magic trick in my pocket. I pulled it up. I said, "I don't know how to do this. Can you show me how?" And he showed me how to do the trick. And then he looked in my face. He says, "Would you like to go back and meet everyone behind the scenes?" I said, "Oh, God, yes, I would." So he ran over the tent, and he hit it with his cane. And he said, "Clean up your language! Clean up your language!" And all the people inside cleaned up their language. And he took me in, and I met the illustrated man, the tattooed man, the fat lady, the skeleton man, the trapeze artist. And then Mr. Electrico took me down, and we sat on the beach by the water, and he talked his small philosophies and allowed me to talk my big ones. Huh? Because 12-year-old boys are full of big philosophies, huh? And they want to talk and babble about everything. And after about 10 minutes, he looked at me and he said, "You know, we've met before." I said, "Oh, no, sir, I've never met you before. This is the first time we've ever talked." He said, "No, you were my best friend in France in October 1918 at the Battle of the Ardennes Forest. And you were wounded in that battle and you died in my arms in October, all those years ago. And here you are back in the world with a new face, a new name, but the soul shining out of your eyes is the soul of my friend. Welcome back to the world." Now, why did he do that? I haven't the faintest idea. Why was he so kind to me? I just don't know. Maybe he had a family. Maybe he missed them. Carnival life is dreadful. You travel and you miss your friends and your family. Maybe he had a dead son. Maybe I resembled a dead son. Anyway, for whatever reasons, he put bookends on my life. The night before he said, "Live forever." And now he was telling me I'd lived before. And he gave me his name and address. He lived in Cairo, Illinois. And he was a devout Presbyterian minister. I hate to think what he was a rock for. But we stayed in touch. I wrote him several letters during the next year. And he wrote back. And within 3 months of my last encounter with him, Labor Day of 1932, I began to write full time. And I've written every day since then for the last 62 years. So he was a catalyst. For whatever reason, he treated me as kindly as he did. He must have seen something in my face. There had to be something there. Sometimes we meet people who are burning with a desire for life. It had to be, I was just hyperventilated on life. And he put out his hand and warmed them, and that's whatever was there. But anyway, if he were somewhere in the world today, I would go find him and I would hug him and I would thank him for being the catalyst that put me on the trail of writing forever.